We've just arrived at the 2024 Chicago Auto Show, and here's a quick tour of some of the many things you're going to see on the floor here. We've got the Toyota booth over here on the left. They've got the new 2024 Land Cruiser on display. As we go up here, we can see the Ford booth on the right. They've got some great trucks. There's a Raptor R. They've got plenty of Broncos to take a look at. We'll see the Bronco Mountain exhibition in a few. Over here on the left, I love this Toyota X-Fronter. It's a highly modified Tacoma, really, really cool SEMA vehicle. There are lots of opportunities to test out vehicles, get inside of them, see what they're like without dealer pressure. And as we go around here, you'll see some of the cool things Ford has on display. Probably my favorite as we walk in here, after we pass the Mach-E Rally, is on the center display here. You'll see that they have a Mustang GTD on display. And this thing is a really, really cool limited edition vehicle that's going to be coming with an 800 horsepower turbocharged engine. Sort of a limited thing like the Ford GT. In the background, you'll see things like the Ford switchgear. And as we go, we'll find our way through some of the other booths here. We're about to come up on the Hyundai booth over here on the left. It's a great opportunity to check out the new Santa Fe, which is really, really cool in its sort of boxy new look. You know, love the overall styling of this vehicle. The H headlights, the shape that's very, very rugged compared to the old Santa Fe. It's a whole new look, and I'm really looking forward to driving one of these in the near future. Over here on the right, as we go through some more, you'll see the Bronco Mountain display. This is where visitors have the opportunity to actually get into a Bronco, drive it over this gigantic hill, and if we stay here for a minute or so, we might actually see one coming over the hill. I love the retro look on this Bronco Sport over here on the right. And then, we'll keep an eye here as this Bronco makes its way over the Bronco Mountain and comes down the very steep descent to show off its abilities and controlled ride for something that's so rugged. Check out the wheel articulation here. As we come over this way, we're going to walk past the Chevrolet booth. This is where we're going to see there's a Chevy Trax on display, which actually won an award this morning for the Mama Vehicle of the Year, for the favorite vehicle from the journalists in the Midwest, which is pretty cool. Over here, there's the Silverado EV, which I've actually not seen in person before. Looking forward to this one. It's got some really cool features. It's a really sleek-looking truck. And it's got some neat stuff like the pass-through from the bed into the cabin. And it's just a slick-looking vehicle overall. As we keep going here, we're going to make our way past the Chevrolet booth, and we are about to find our way to the Volkswagen booth with a fantastic old VW bus here. The 21-window bus, that is just a really cool collectible vehicle. And I love orange. It's my favorite color. And there, sitting alongside it, is the new VW bus. This is a really cool vehicle too, the ID Buzz. We're looking forward to seeing these on the roads in the near future. On the other side over here, we've got the Nissan booth. In this booth, the big thing they are showing off this year is the pole-to-pole electric Aria. This vehicle drove 22,000 miles from the pole to pole on the Earth, covered 14 countries and 3 continents over the course of 10 months. And then Chris and Julie Ramsey, the guys who drove this thing, they did it all, on their own through much of it. And then they had some support up in the poles to help with charging and making sure that they can get wherever they go. It's pretty impressive that you can take an EV 22,000 miles. And look at those tires. It's 39-inch tires on a largely unmodified. Here in the Honda booth, we start out with the Prologue, which is their new EV. And as we go through, we're going to see some interesting vehicles as well here. And they've even brought the fuselage from an airplane, which is kind of cool. Look at that CR-V. That is not something you will see on the road. Looks pretty badass. And it's a hybrid. And we've got a customized Ridgeline here. It's ready to go do some serious off-roading. And on the other side of the booth, we've got the Acura ZDX, which is the EV from the Acura side of the business. BMW is here as well. Look at that matte finish on this M4 competition. Really, really cool. Really dig the CX-50. I've driven one of these off-road and on-road. It's a really, really great vehicle. Definitely worth checking out if you get a chance. And there's the new 3-row CX-90, which will give you plenty of space. And from what I've heard from some folks who've driven it, is it drives just as well as the CX-9 did, which was one of my favorite 3-row vehicles ever. And here we are in the Subaru booth. This is taking a look at some of the Wilderness models they have available. And as we dive deeper into the booth here, they got this really great display with a panoramic screen to show off the Forester. Really transports you, and it's one of the cooler displays here at the auto show. Of course, it's not a Subaru booth without puppies. So as we go a little further over here, I think we're going to see some pets.
Somebody give him a raise.
Hear that, Davis? You got the show.
Yay, puppies. Wow, look at this Subaru, this Hoonigan beast of a Subaru. Now we're passing by the Buick booth here. There's the new Invista, which is a really slick looking Buick. And then as we continue through here, we'll see that more of these vehicles are having that new Buick badging, which I like. It's kind of a retro look. The GMC booth is right next door, and one of the cooler vehicles on the floor here is this Hummer Earth Cruiser that is outfitted for some serious overlanding. It's got that big pop-up roof tent. It's got solar power. This thing is a beast. There's another slick-looking Hummer with a matte finish paint on it. Not something that you see that often. Over here, you're going to see pretty much the entire Lexus lineup. You've got some really great vehicles like the LX, the LC500, which is just still a gorgeous and fun to drive vehicle. And you've got the TX on hand, which is a spacious family cruiser. You'll see that we've got a GX on hand, which is, at the moment, my favorite new vehicle of the year. The GX Over Trail Plus is really, really capable. I love this vehicle. I took it out off-roading out in Tucson, and if you get a chance to watch my video on that, I think you won't be disappointed. A little further over this way, we're going to find our way to the Kia booth, and Kia is primarily showing off the EV9 here, which is another move toward boxy vehicles. So it's one of my favorite parts of the show because it gets you a chance to get up close and personal with things like Bentleys and McLarens and Lamborghinis and, you know, amazing six-figure cars. So just take a quick look here at some of the vehicles that are on display. That beautiful like copper Bentley over here. Rolls Royces. As we come around, you're going to see some other pretty spectacular vehicles from Aston Martin on the other side there. That Wraith, $400,000, but boy, it looks good. And then, as we come over here, even better looking is the electric Spectre, which is a $500,000 Rolls, but stunning. Aston Martin DBX 707, and more Astons up here as we come around the booth. Ooh, look at this MC20. That is not something you see every day. That's Maserati. It's a unique open-top two-seater. Lotus Emira, which is nice to see Lotus back in the US with something exciting. And then we've got McLarens. These are the vehicles for royalty and fat cats. And then we've got a couple of Lambos up here that we're going to pass by. The Urus, but it's this Sterrato that is really something special. Again, I have a thing about orange cars, and this Hurricane Sterrato is calling my name if I had $330,000 to pick one up. And then the new Countach, which is a nearly $3 million vehicle, if you can believe it. 800 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. This thing is a beast and very, very, very limited. I'm really shocked that they have one here on the floor. And over here we've got some special performance cars. These are built out for track operations, although that F-Type back there was built for shooting video on a track, which is pretty cool. This Graham Rahal performance vehicle is just spectacular. I love a Lancia. Just the whole look of those sort of wedgy 1970s and 1980s sports cars. I can only imagine how cool this thing is to drive. And while Stellantis isn't here this year, there are Jeeps on the floor. You might not get to drive them, but there's some pretty cool stuff. I love this old Willys. And then just some Wranglers from different eras here as well in the Jeeps on the Run booth. The Army is here. We're not going to be driving any of these, but it's pretty neat to see these Army vehicles up close because you don't really get to see them unless you're in the Army. Look at this armored vehicle. Wow. RG31 Mark V. That thing is imposing. You would not want to come face to face with this thing. I would like one in the zombie apocalypse, please. Last but not least is the Chicago Drives Electric exhibit, which gives visitors the opportunity to drive a variety of electric vehicles on a closed course here. There are vehicles from Cadillac, BMW, Lucid, Kia, and even Tesla is on hand for this event. And if we're lucky, we might even see a Cybertruck. Oh, I love that Lucid Air. I got a chance to drive one of those last year, and it is just a fantastic vehicle. Here's our first look up close and personal with the Tesla Cybertruck. This thing is very imposing in person. If you had one of these coming up behind you on the road, you probably would get out of the way of it. You'll see some little things like fingerprints in the stainless steel, though, but it is an impressive vehicle overall. There's your yoke steering wheel and your digital instrument panel. It's all you got in the middle there. Has big wheel caps. And then we come around here, and it's a pretty usable bed. It's hard to get things over the sides, but the back part of the bed looks like it's actually quite usable and very, normal truck-like thing.